Here we are again with another podcast, Our Community Corner. This is Bill.
I'm here too, Dan.
Yep, you sure are, I can see you. And this should be a very interesting podcast today. We're actually going to have a guest also, and we'll get into that in a minute or two. I think Dan's got a few things he wants to run through first. You'll notice on our opening screen, though, we added something. We added our 2 cents worth, because that's basically all this is. You know, I mean, we try to base as much of it on fact as we possibly can, and the rest of it is just our 2 cents worth. So, go ahead, Dan. I know you had a few things. I think we got some fan feedback.
Yeah, we'd like to start with that fan feedback corner. We usually get fan feedback from everybody out there in this community. We haven't got much from any of the other communities, but the first thing I'd like to start with, I'd like to thank anybody who's involved in any of the community activities, our own community or any other communities in the area, for all that you do, the programs that you run. You guys do a great job. We thank you for all your hard work. Now, fan feedback that actually has come in is, we have some here. Well, somebody wrote to me the other day, and I got a lot of negative feedback from this about why do you run on a board over and over and over again. I put something on Facebook kind of comically, and you got a lot of annoying answers on it, but hey, that's his choice, her choice, whatever. I would question myself, why would I vote for somebody like that? If you've been there long enough, move on. Especially if you're involved with any shady deals. Somebody asked me, what about our share? We have a share in our park. What is that land? What is it worth? Well, hey, I gotta tell you, it's not worth anything. It's worth a piece of paper that's written on. It's between you, the buyer, or the seller, whichever way you want to look at it. If they don't want to pay that $35,000 that we have on our share here in this park, you can cut a deal and make it less if you wanted to. Or you could even sell it for more if somebody wanted to buy it. But it's worth nothing.
Is it true, Dan, that even though, like you said, you don't want to pay for the share, even when you buy someone's home, that share is going to get transferred?
Oh yeah, that's right. It's usually built right into your price. So, you know, whether they want to call it $35,000 or $135,000, doesn't matter. You know, this is something that's very interesting. Somebody has brought it to me a couple of times. We have 2 clubhouses in our park, one on one side, one on the other. They've removed the phone, a physical phone, from one of the clubhouses. I've heard this as a complaint from a number of people who was approached just recently at an event. Somebody asked me, why did they do that? They have had numerous instances in this part of the community in that clubhouse where nobody had a phone and they needed some help. Hey, she fell, or he's not feeling good, or whatever. Why is there not a phone? Not everybody brings a phone to a yoga class.
Nobody knows the address of the North Clubhouse either.
No, exactly.
That's the other thing I was going to point out, too. You know, you can call 911 on a cell phone, but they're not going to automatically know where you're at.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Where if you use a landline, they know where that number's coming from.
That's right. So it was a very interesting point that somebody brought up to me. I thought I'd bring it up here. And here's another one that somebody's brought up a couple of times. That knucklehead that we hang out with brought this up a few times. Why don't we have full-time residents on an executive board? The executive board, which constitutes the president, the vice president, the treasurer, and the secretary, I believe it is, right? The 4 that we have here in our community don't even live here full-time. So how could you hold an executive session? Who's signing the checks? Who's authorizing anything to happen? You know, and that's something that people ask about every day.
State of Florida does not demand it.
Oh, I'm sure they don't.
It's
just like being on a board. You're not demanded
but
to.
there are some things that they have to be aware of.
Yeah,
No matter where you live.
Yep.
Any HOA that has a board of directors and an executive committee.
Well,
Executives cannot hold an email vote. Did you know that?
they can't hold a who?
A vote over email.
Oh, right. That's why they probably put somebody else in charge of the finances while they're not here.
Yeah.
You know, like investing money. That's
Yeah.
exactly.
And like, you know, like what happened this year here with the hurricanes that came through. We had nobody from the executive committee here.
We had a candidate night last night.
We
Somebody
had
brought
board
that up.
members here. We had one board member that took the reins, and he didn't want to hear anything from anybody else except what he wanted done and how he wanted it done.
Yep.
Well, we found out today with one of the committee meetings, they've got plans for the money that we've got in the bank. And there's a lot of money in the bank, you know. We found out today why they don't want to spend any money.
Oh, yeah, what are you going to spend on? I didn't go to the
Oh,
meeting.
they're talking all kinds of different projects.
Oh, the
you
solar.
know.
They're still
Yeah.
beating that in the ground. How long has the solar project been going on?
100 grand.
Yeah, well, I bet it's $300 grand. I bet it is. But
It's, yeah, that's what they're going to go for. And that's been beaten well, I've been on the board a couple of years, it's been talked about since I've been on the board.
Yeah?
It's gonna be brought up at the board tomorrow, but I don't think it's on
I'll be right back.
the list.
I'm gonna adjust it.
Oh, yeah, you all right?
I
No,
don't,
I'm fine.
I'll talk with our guest speaker while you're gone.
I don't think it's on the list. It doesn't have to be on the list before it comes up to the board. It has to be on the list for it to be,
Yeah.
people know what to talk about. So they can't send it to, work on it today to send it tomorrow. That's what the next February's board, let's say, 'cause it's not
Yeah,
gonna be
they
board
have
next
to,
month.
they have to have a 10 to 15 minute window, a 10 or 15 day window.
Yes,
To get
yes,
their notifications
yes.
to the
So
board.
chances are the
Yep.
solar won't be on until February.
Yep.
And then I'm working with Dan Russum and Mike Leahy on hurricane evacuation stuff. People who are in their houses that we don't know they're inside, or
Yeah.
they don't let nobody know that they live alone, and who do they get out, trying to figure all this out. I'm working on them with that.
Yeah, that meeting was just
All
finished
right,
up.
I'm back. Let's just hold everything a minute. Now, you've heard another voice here.
Who?
But nobody has seen it.
Oh, yeah,
We
that's
don't
right.
need to know.
Oh, yeah, we do. So, let me just introduce who the other voice here is gonna be our guest today,
Yep.
and we'll go back and forth, okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll go back to finish up. I got a couple more of the fan feedback, and then we'll.
Yeah, but now that we have that other voice coming in, it's only right to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Mary, you can see yourself there, can't you?
No, we can't see nothing.
Welcome to our community
That's all
corner,
we see
and
is the
our 2
background
cents
screen. I
worth.
was
That's
wondering
all
about
we've
that.
seen. That's what I'm asking. Should I be seeing somebody else? I know it's a podcast, you're not supposed to have the video, but hey, there I am.
Full screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Half-
Like I said, everybody knows on this podcast that we're still learning, you know? And, but anyway, this is Mary Ann, and we don't like to use last names, you know, but
We'll call her Mary Ann Smith. We're gonna
Yeah.
disguise her voice. We're gonna put a dark cloak over her head. Oh,
No,
that's,
we're not. No,
that's the
we're
wrong
not.
podcast. I'm sorry.
no, we're not. But Mary is running for her local board of directors this year, and that's one of the reasons she's here. Besides the fact we like talking with Mary.
Yes, we do.
So anyway, I'm going to go back to Dan, and let's continue on. But anyway, you'll know where the face to the voice now, okay?
And this is just to finish up the 2 things I had on the fan feedback, and then we'll go to some questions to Mary. And there's one user who, a member that, he works with us in the bazaar, actually, Mary, and he complained that he got written up by our office for parking. He parked on the grass near his house, and he's in an area that is a common area right behind his house that has a no parking sign, and people park there all the time. So he's kind of upset. Why would you knock on my door and give me this letter? And I explained to him, here in our park, in our community, we have a thing that's called selective enforcement. Let that sink in for a minute. Selective enforcement. So anyway, and the last thing, this last one to me is just, oh my gosh, this is so good. This past spring, we gave out phone directories to the park. We also gave out a 211 senior directory. I have a little angel in the park that I've been working with that has helped me get some information. This is gobs and gobs and gobs of information. Our park is going to be faced with some really big hits in our HOA fees this year because of things that are not able to control, just things that happen in life. And what's going to affect some of these people in our park is how do they pay for services, for food, and this 211 directory is just, it's a good thing. It has home assistant programs, home improvements and modifications, all kinds of things that you could talk about. Even there's a place where you can share a room in your home if you want to. These are things that people in our park or any park that has absorbent HOA fees that are rising continuously because of the cost of living for anything. How do you help them? The board's not going to do it. The property management and manage the company's not going to do it. So it's up to us as friends and neighbors
Community.
to inform them. Exactly, in the community. Let them know. 211, remember that, 211. You can call them, you can get the directory, you can ask them for information. There is a gobs of information. Please make sure you do it. So that's about it for me on member feedback.
Yeah, well, I got one other thing to bring up to you, talking about parking and some of the rules and violations. There's something coming up in my community tomorrow at the board meeting. They want to pass a motion and install a new rule
Oh yeah?
that if you leave a car parked overnight, it is subject to be towed.
Ooh.
I don't know how they can do that.
I thought we already had that.
Well, they can do anything you want, they do. But, no, you don't have that.
Ah.
But, how do you do that when you don't even enforce the parking violations?
Huh.
You gotta start someplace a little easier, that's a harsh penalty.
Well, they were talking about the parking on the road so the UPS trucks can get through. Because if you get 2 on the road, UPS truck can't get through. Then they're going to tow it.
Forget,
Is what I.
No, it's
UPS would
overnight.
be
The
the
only
least.
thing they can stop you from doing is overnight parking.
Oh,
Yeah, the least of my concern is UPS. It's more the
Yeah.
fire engine. the
Right, but I
ambulance.
haven't heard
That's
of any
true.
problems with fire engines.
Yep.
Not that. No, not
No.
usually.
But the thing is, I think they need to start with issuing violations for it. They haven't even done that.
Didn't it?
They want to give this problem to an outside concern,
Didn't
so
that
they
new-
don't have to deal with it.
That
That's
new law or
ridiculous.
statute that they passed for the state in July, didn't that have something about parking in it?
it had something to do with commercial
Commercial
vehicles
vehicle
with
parking, okay.
names
They're
on the
allowed to
vehicle.
have them in the community.
they
now.
can
Right,
allow
good.
them out, yeah.
Yeah, if that's his livelihood,
Yep.
they have to allow
Yep.
it.
So no notification, no violation, no knock on your door, no
That's what I'm
courtesy,
saying.
no courtesy call, no. Hey, there goes your
And you
car.
know how
See
the
you later.
towing companies look at this. As a moneymaker.
Sure. They're
Everyone
probably the
they
one who
see,
passed it.
You know,
They're probably the one
whatever
who
their
approached
minimum
them.
fee is, and that's it, you know, and then they're going
That's
to
a
charge you
shame.
storage. So, anyway, just wanted to bring that up so people that are
Interesting.
watching this happen to know what's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
They may see, because all they ever do with the agenda is just say there's going to be a rule change, rule number. They don't say what the change is. The only ones that get that change before the meeting is the board of directors.
Right.
You know, you have to go down and actually ask for a board packet
Right.
to get
Just to get
everything,
it,
which is
yeah.
ridiculous. They email it out. They can email it to everybody.
They don't. Yeah, we don't get it. You guys do.
I heard something today from a friend of ours that I thought was totally absurd. If you go down to pay your golf fee
Oh, I heard that.
and you ask for a receipt, they're going to charge you $2.75. Yeah.
To get a receipt.
It's an administration fee from
Yep.
our property management company
Yes.
that manages the property here. Yeah.
Somebody said that this morning.
that's-
They're
that's-
very
they told us
upset.
this morning. He was wild about it. He was wild.
His
His
wife-
wife went in to
yep.
pay, paid, and that's over $1,000 for memberships into our golf course here in our park. Over $1,000. Here's my money. Can I get a receipt for that? It's gonna cost you $2.75.
The person that's always at the desk
Come on.
wasn't there. Somebody was in that place.
I just gave you $1,000, over $1,000. You can't, I mean, of course, you got the check, the canceled check, of course, as a receipt,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. I just thought, it's one of those administrative costs that I think companies like the one we have build into their deal, which they've done a number of times.
Could I run on a platform of?
1 minute.
Uh-oh.
All right, I'm going to bring Mary up, and she's going to just give us a little idea about yourself and why you want to run for the board first off, okay? So we're going to put you up full screen, and go ahead, Mary. It's all yours. Because I'm going to make Dan full screen on his. We're going to go back and forth between the two of you. Go ahead.
I've been here for 4 years, fully retired. I have time. I have a dog. We ran our own shop for 20 years. I've dealt with public, money, breakdowns, all that kind of stuff. Stress. A lot of experience. I can work a chainsaw. There's so many things I can do. Yep. I'm capable in this park. I can get my hands filthy and get something done.
Did you
Yeah.
review our, any governing documents associated with our own park, or?
Governing documents.
Like state laws, bylaws,
I read the
prospectus, things like that.
I did read
See,
the
oh, good.
prospectus.
It helps you
Yeah.
get prepared,
Yes.
especially when people start asking.
That was
you
my
questions.
question. Did you
Yeah.
read? What did you research? I sure did.
And you get no problems with meetings, anything like that. You're all set to go with those.
No problem with people.
You seem to get along with most of them. That's
I do.
for sure.
I don't like to be mean. I don't like to be rude. I see it all the time, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Old people, they live alone. They're locked in by themselves. They like to talk. I always stop by and talk to.
Not only do they want to talk, they want to talk about the same thing.
Yes. What,
And I find, as a matter of fact, somebody said something to one of our fellows this morning who's almost 90 years old. He ran our bazaar for a number of years. And when we were going out to lunch today, he was like, let's go. And everybody else was like, oh, wait a minute, we gotta wait for so-and-so, And they asked him, don't you have any patience at all? At 90 years old, you don't have time for patience.
you don't know what tomorrow brings.
Exactly.
Yep,
You don't know if there's gonna be a tomorrow.
You gotta do it today.
You gotta do
Yep,
it now.
Don't
May
know
not
about
have
tomorrow.
time tomorrow. I may be dead.
Yep. Yeah. I was going through the prospectus, and some things I don't say are wrong. I don't want to say that, but they're not right.
Well, there's a lot of things in something like that it's so hard to change. Like in our case, we have to have 66% of the population in the park. That's almost 1,200 homes, 1,100 homes. Excuse me.
Why do you have to have that amount?
To make
For what?
changes to any material changes to a park.
I was household on the vote, like, let's say I want to do a dog park. I need 66% of the people that voted to vote for it,
That's right.
not 60% of the people in the park.
Well, I think it's the same thing, isn't it? 'Cause
No.
They vote, well.
200 votes.
Is it how they vote, or is it?
I thought it was who,
that the way it is,
who voted.
From the
I gotta tell you,
prospectus?
I'm not quite sure on that. I don't wanna
Prospectus
quote
isn't clear.
something that's-
Again, that's something that's not clear.
I
I
have
would like to
to,
go through that book.
Yeah.
I have to review that, and why don't you write that down for a topic for the next podcast? All right, and I will do the research before we come back, okay, so we get it right.
A year or two ago, I was on a committee. It was called Communications, and I was trying to find out how people get their information. Is it from the TV, where's the link? Facebook. Where do they get it all from? And I wanted to do a vote. Can we send a vote out there to all the households? Just because we're paying for that thing once we need to use it. So, and I was told no, we couldn't. Not by the boss.
Yeah.
Somebody else sitting there said, no, that's not what it's used for. It's used for votes. Let's use it.
Well, and of course, I think the
Used
biggest
for
problem.
surveys is what
When
I
you
would.
talk,
Yes,
when
that's
you
what
talk,
it was.
When you talk about that is something topic like that, it's awful hard to get anybody to move on anything without hearing this is the way we used to do
I'm
it,
so tired of hearing
or we don't do it that way, or.
that. Can't
you know,
hear
I
that
just-
anymore. Like, I can't get into stuff. No, I just.
Well, I like that. I wrote that down for our next podcast. We're gonna have another candidate, guest speaker. I understand. But Bill's gonna do some research on our perspectives and what constitutes a park majority. Is it 66%
Is it
of
the park,
1,100,
or is it just those that vote?
Well, I know
That's
in our own rec club we have that issue. We never, because right now it is 75%
Of
of the population.
not who vote.
Not the membership in the
You'll
room.
never get that
No,
many
exactly.
people there.
That's why we
Never.
need to change it. We
Never.
need to change it to
All these homes, less than
percentage.
half vote.
It has to be at least
Yep.
40% or
Yep.
whatever. Yeah.
It should be good. Go by who vote. How
Yeah.
many the votes themselves, not the park. 'Cause half the park does not vote. They don't want to vote.
Yeah.
They're retired. They're enjoying life. Leave them alone.
Yep.
Yep.
Just give it a TV and a remote.
Yep. That's what it goes on here, which is fine.
Yeah.
One day I'll be lazy and
Oh no way.
relax and
Stop it.
sit on a
Well,
beach all day.
Somebody
My,
told
my,
me.
my take on it is the reason why that is in the bylaws, that, percentage and the way it's laid out, and again, we'll do more research on this, but years ago, they did that for a reason. So you couldn't load the room with just 10 people
Right.
I get that. Yeah,
that
that's true.
like what
Yep.
you wanna
yep.
do,
That's
makes
exactly
sense.
what
and
happened.
then the next month, let's come back and load it with 10 other people. And I've seen
Yeah.
that happen in different
get it, yeah.
instances, not so much in an HOA or a community, but
Yep.
in other organizations that I've
Sure.
been part of.
Yep.
And I've seen that happen.
Stacking the deck.
You know the worst thing about that, or the worst thing about not understanding it, or not being able to change it? The worst thing about it is or in our perspectives, you have to have 2 of this, 2 of that, 2 of this, 2 of that. Well, we recently had a shuffle court that was damaged. Really bad, gonna need a lot of work. I asked the shuffle chairman, could you live with just 1 court? You know what his answer was? No, because I don't wanna have to get 66% of the park to agree to get rid of it. So it's not that you couldn't, reasonably stop using them both, you know what I mean? Because of schedules and conflicts and people and how many play and what have you. I mean, that's a dying sport, shuffleboard. So why would you continue to invest money on something that really isn't used as much as it could be, especially in the space that it's in?
Pickleball is huge here.
Oh, yeah.
Pickleball is. I mean, they're beating the tennis out.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could remove something like that shuffle court, put in 2, 3, maybe 4
Yep.
pickleball courts.
Yep.
Yeah.
They would get used.
Yeah, they sure would.
At least until noon.
But because they don't need to have 2 of them, but because they have 2 of them, and it's written that way.
Yep.
It's like,
I know. We
like
have
the
to.
10 Commandments, I guess.
We have to read.
Who's gonna call God and see if we can add one or remove one?
Dear God.
So, you got any more questions there, Dan?
Not from
Well, I'm
Mary.
gonna bring you
we went.
back up anyway, because Mary's been up there, so we'll put you back up. What else you got in your little
No,
paperwork
well,
there
we
today?
just covered all kinds of things to Mary. Her and I went a couple questions about what she would do and how she would do it.
Is it wrong to ask for a, what's it called? A forensic audit?
Yeah, you gotta get a board to vote for it, because it costs money.
What if I have a friend, a forensic accountant,
I guess
works for the Navy, if that
You
matters.
still gotta get the approval of the board to do it.
Right.
They're not gonna let you in the books, I'm telling you.
No.
can you guys get into the books for that computer software? Can you see the books now?
I can see
I
everything.
can't.
You can
I
see
can't.
everything.
Not until you're a board member.
Okay.
I can see everything, and I want to tell you something. And there's a lot of misreporting the way it's set up,
Sure.
because they've changed the way they have the financial reports
They've changed
made.
software. Yeah. So
Well,
it's,
not
yeah.
even that. They just changed the way certain items are reported, so you can't tell.
Yeah. Yep.
A couple of years ago, I happened to notice this last year. Between 2 different months, the financial report changed drastically on certain charges for certain amenities, right? And I says, wait a minute. I went back and looked at all the board meetings that year, and there was no motion to change it.
Yeah.
There was no approval, nothing. It was just changed. So I finally found out who did the change. I got him to admit it in a video. And it's like,
It's
they
okay.
want to
and that-
hide stuff. They want to hide stuff because they have their little pet things here.
That was probably that non-here executive committee, a
Yeah.
non-president executive
Yeah.
committee.
And, and that still goes on to this day here. And, but yeah, so looking at the books, I mean, the numbers all look fine and everything,
So is
You're not going to find anything.
Do I have a chance of getting on the board if it's all the old boys club there?
Well, I think you do. I think you need to talk to a lot of people in the community, let them know what you hope to accomplish, what you stand for.
I
Mean,
yeah.
all of them that are on the board now, besides myself, have said they're going to be fully transparent. I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any transparency this year. None.
I
They
like
go out of their way to hide stuff.
I like the changes I've
Yeah.
seen. There's been 2 changes, and I really like those. So that makes
What's that?
me happy. The having a liaison instead of 4 people on the board on the one committee, and they already passed it at the board, or it gets to the board. Yeah, so that irritated me. So they got a liaison now who's not allowed to vote or speak.
You know why they did that? Because they didn't want anything to do with me, Bill, or the other gal that left.
They're controlling the flow.
Yep.
Is what they're doing.
That's all they
Okay.
did.
They handpicked all the committee people.
Yep, they were like,
And-
we
and
don't
they
want
did,
you,
and
we
this-
don't want you, we don't want you. Go in the corner and stay there.
Yeah.
And like somebody's on 2.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
and there's 9.
And that same
Yep.
somebody is the Dear Santa letter that I wrote,
Oh.
that I thought was kind of humorous. Review their track record. When you look
There's
at
my
candidates, what
Dear
kind
Santa.
of things?
Dear Santa, kill Mary.
Dear Santa, make sure
Yeah.
Mary gets on the board, please. But when you look at, how do you evaluate who to vote for, what to look at? First, you need to understand the role of an HOA director. You yourself, as a member, who's going to vote. What is their role? Make sure you understand that before you decide to vote for somebody just because they had nice hair that night, Evaluate the candidate qualifications. What do they need? What do they know? You and I just talked a few of your own just a few minutes ago. Access their vision and priorities. What do they want to do? Do they want to build a pool in their own backyard? Or do they want to fix the pool we all going to work on? Those are the kind of things you want to look at.
Sure.
Yeah, candidate forums, we just had one of those. Don't know if they're going to have any more or anything like that, but meet and greets are nice.
I
Talk
enjoyed
to
the
your
forums.
neighbors.
I enjoyed the forums.
Absolutely. Talk to your neighbors. Find out who they like. What do they know? Hey, can you tell me anything about Mary?
Yeah.
What about Mary? Remember that movie?
The hair.
Shit, I wasn't going to go there, Mary. Stop it. I was trying to be good. Now look at me, but even the cat's laughing over there. Yeah, consider their commitment and their integrity. I mean, the commitment and integrity to me is like, you don't even live here full time. How can you have a commitment to anything that goes on around here?
Yep, I am
You know,
full time. I
you
don't go
are.
back home again.
I like the fact that 6 out of the 8 candidates that we presented last night in this park
Yep.
were full-time residents.
It's hard to have a
I love it.
part-time board when a hurricane comes through and
We
you're
had 2 of them.
yeah, on your own.
Yeah, we went through this one.
Yep.
We had 2 podcasts about this one, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah, we sure did.
Like I said,
And of course, the last thing on here, trust your gut.
Yep.
I mean, can you reason with this people? Can you talk to this person? Can you listen to this person?
Yes.
Understand the
Sure.
person.
Yep. Yep.
Trust your gut.
and I always take the time to listen to people at the
Whether
bazaar.
you like it or not.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
places. Yep. The pool,
You know,
whatever.
But
Yep.
at least you're the kind of person, Mary. I find you a very nice person, a very good person to work with. Even if you don't like somebody that comes up to you and starts talking to you, you're not the kind of person to turn around and say, "Oh, there's that jerk Donnie," or whatever.
We don't answer questions
Just
here.
out here. That's all, Donnie. Don't take it personal.
We don't answer questions.
No.
Yeah, we have to go back to the workshops for sure.
Yeah,
Once
you
a
need
month,
workshop.
pick one up because
Absolutely.
the board is
Tell us a little bit about that, Mary.
The workshops, they stopped it before I moved here during the COVID. It was stopped, right?
Yeah.
And then we came up with the forums, and friends and I came up with the forum for people to get together once a month to discuss whatever they want to vent about.
Yeah.
Because they took the web blast away from us, so we can't vent there.
Yeah. And you
The
ran,
message board,
you
board.
ran 2 of those very successfully in our park. I know that.
The forums?
Yeah.
I did 4 of them.
Well, you 2 that were really successful.
Oh.
The last 2 were kind of like.
Well, the last one was just ridiculous.
Disaster.
Yep.
Because naysayers that came in.
Yeah, that's
and
what
took
happened
over,
too.
you
Yep,
know,
they
and that's
heard
fine.
I was going to do something, and I had no power to do that, and that's what
Yeah.
brought them all in.
I thought it was a good thing. I really did.
Yep, it is for people to get together and talk. Someone that
You have
complain
to.
about this or that, you guys sit there and listen. I'll
You
be
have
glad to. But I think one person from the board each month should come and sit with the not networking,
To do what?
the once a month. we
Oh,
get
the town
together-
halls. and
Town
things like
halls,
that, the
yeah, yeah.
forums. Absolutely.
One
That-
person from the board once
That's
a
a
month.
great. If you get
should.
on the board,
Yep.
and Bill, if you'll still be on
Yep.
the board. Do me a favor and push for something
Yep.
like that.
Once
A new
month, yep.
workshop, open forum,
Yep.
call it whatever, town hall,
The
whatever you
whole
wanna call
board
it.
doesn't have
And
to be
each
there.
month,
Yep.
you'll host
Something
one.
new. Yep.
You'll host one. Somebody else will host one, and you go through
Well, I
all
think
of
you pick something that we're working on. Let's
That's
say
right.
solar.
Exactly.
Let's say that.
Yep.
So they've been at that a long
That's a
time.
big
Let's bring
project.
that in.
Yep.
Let's bring the person in charge of
Have a
that
town hall about
and
it.
the residents, and they can ask him all these questions.
Yep.
That way, they're not stopping the board from trying to do their job, and it's next.
Well, I'm sorry to say that somebody said it a couple of months ago at one of our meetings. There's just not enough people to get involved in it. You know,
People.
I mean that's the thing.
Yeah. Yep.
They don't want to fight over it. They don't want to argue over
Yep.
it. I just want to stay
Yep.
home. Leave me alone.
They're tired of the bickering.
Yep,
I know
they sure
that.
are.
Nobody wants to bicker anymore, and I don't like to bicker. I don't like to talk bad. I don't like to bicker. I don't like to naysay.
Well, I'm glad you'll bring them back. I'll support that 100%.
Well, you said I'm not going to win.
What?
You said I'm not going to win.
I didn't say that.
You picked 4 people, and I wasn't one of the 4.
I didn't pick them up.
Mary,
I'm in
this
trouble.
This is nonpartisan here, all right? Because we're going to have a number of
Like being at
candidates.
home.
I know. I
My
know.
wife-
We want to give you all the same opportunity.
I
okay?
appreciate that.
We might do this again tomorrow with
What,
Chris.
Yes, what I do privately, talking to people, that'll be different. And then get back to you, because I don't talk behind people's back.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
that.
yeah, I try not to. I really
You
try
know?
not to.
And, right now I'm open to who I'm going to vote for.
Sure.
You know?
Yep, I get it.
And we have a few more people that have shown interest and want to come on the podcast.
Good. That's a good thing.
It's a great thing,
Yep,
you know?
Yep.
And we'll go from there.
Yep.
But,
We can even save some of these other questions.
Yep.
How do you tell a good candidate from a bad candidate? You know. that we
why
They
don't we
look
answer
at
that
you.
after we interview everybody.
Yeah, we can do that.
They look
exactly.
at you in the eyes.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
rare.
a good thing, you know. It's not easy to look somebody in
No,
the
it's
eye
not.
and lie to them.
Yeah, especially in the back of your mind, you're thinking, and you're not looking at the person. Yeah,
Yep.
no. I get it.
Oh, what did I do with Dan?
Uh-oh.
We lost
You
Dan.
shut us off. Oh, I
No,
didn't
we're
do it.
getting down to the end here, and I want to bring the 2 of us back up anyway. So.
We're on the end
With our
already?
logo. Oh yeah, we're actually running well past it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
How
but
far?
it's been a great session. It really has been.
Yeah.
Mary,
Right.
can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Thank you.
And anything final last words you'd like to share with us? You're up. You can see you're up.
I'm up. No, I love the park here. I want to see it do good. I think it's great now. It could use some more people helping out around to help people. I don't like where it's always about me. That just kills me when they say, "Well, I got to do this for me." You know, I get that, but we're in a community. That's why we moved here to be and help, like our neighbors. Yep. So I do like it here. I think I'll be good for the board. I'm open. I don't shut things down. I don't shut down. I like to hear what goes on.
Can you share anything with any of the candidates that we might bring on in the future? Like we're really scary and we don't have good treats or anything like that? No?
Linda?
No, anybody. Chris is our next one, but I mean, you want to share anything with her?
I
Say,
think
watch out. Watch out for the cat.
Chris knows a lot. Chris is very,
Yeah, she is.
her brain
She's
is
coming
right
over,
there, yeah.
I know, tomorrow,
Yep.
whenever we're gonna do one.
Her brain is-
We can't do it tomorrow.
Top
Yeah,
notch.
next day.
Maybe Thursday afternoon.
Yep. Her brain is top notch. She'd be real good for the board for sure.
Alrighty then. Well, Mary, thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. We
Yeah, it's
appreciate
been-
that.
it's
I
been
hope
fun.
we gave you a fair opportunity to voice, your concerns
Yep,
and
yep.
why you're going to be on the ballot this year. That's excellent.
I can't wait.
Thanks for sharing your word this with me. even
You're eating all my candy up.
Yeah. So Dan,
I'm gonna take these in my pocket.
what do you got? You got anything left? or-
That's it for me. I got a couple things we'll talk about with our next candidate. We'll save some.
Hopefully they all have time to come here and sit for,
Well, it'd be nice. I'd like any one of them to come and
Yep.
sit. I know there's a few that wouldn't even want to come and talk to us, let alone sit. but
Yeah.
why not?
To each his own.
So, all right. Well, we're gonna say. Well, I mean, what did I do
Ta-ta.
here? Hold on a minute.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
You have to redo it again, Barry.
Goodbye and ta-ta.
All right, so we're going to say goodbye for now, and I think we're going to see you a lot quicker than we have been. So, good luck, have a good day. Until we see you again, you all take care.
Thanks for
Until
letting us
the
share our
vote,
2 cents.
until the vote is done.
How did that go? Zero, fairly easy, right?
Yeah,
no
sure.
pressure.
Yep.
Right?
I have me on video from 1986 or 7. They had, in our town, they had bowling for dollars.
Oh yeah.
I bowled on 4 teams one time at one year, so they